Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us today for the Capital Projects Fund Digital Connectivity Technology Program Application webinar. Before we get started, I want to announce that this webinar is being recorded and we will have the recording with closed captioning posted to our webpage at www.floridajobs.org/broadband within 2 business days. My name is Kate Doyle and I'm serving as the Interim Deputy Secretary for the Division of Community Development here at Florida Commerce, and I'd like to go through some introductions of our Office of Broadband team. Today, I'm joined by Leo Garcia. He's the new Director of the Office of Broadband. We're so excited to have him join the team. I'm also joined by Tanya Pryor, Deputy Director of the Office of Broadband, as well as Paul Witherspoon, Chief of Broadband Funding, and we're so appreciative of Paul serving in the interim director role during the hiring process. And we're also joined by Sean Lewis, the Chief of the Broadband Initiatives. And now let's get started. I'll pass it on to Leo and Paul.
Thank you, Kate, and everyone. I'm again excited to be part of this broadband team. My name again is Leo Garcia, the new Director of the Office of Broadband. In our presentation, we will be giving an overview of the Capital Projects Fund Program and Digital Connectivity Technology Program, discussing requests for payments and additional funding opportunities. During the presentation, if you have questions, please type them in the chat feature and we will address questions received. If your question doesn't get addressed, please email them to broadband@commerce.fl.gov. I will now turn it over to Paul for an overview of the program.
Thanks, Leo. Capital Projects Fund was established by the U.S. Department of the Treasury as part of the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA. Capital Projects Fund program provides funding to carry out critical capital projects that directly enable work, education, and health monitoring, including remote options. The program allows eligible applicants to invest in capital assets that address the community's critical connectivity need identified or exacerbated by the pandemic. This includes rural areas, tribal communities, and low to moderate income communities. The state of Florida is implementing 3 programs within the Capital Projects Fund program. Broadband Infrastructure Program, or BIP, opened from February to July 2023 and awarded 63 projects totaling more than $247 million. The Multi-Community Facilities Program opened July to October of 2023. Those applications are being reviewed and scored with anticipated award announcements in late January, early February 2024. The program has more than $86 million available for awards. The Digital Connectivity Technology Program is now open and accepts applications through March 4th, 2024. The Digital Connectivity Technology Program has $3 million in allocation. Is to enhance digital connectivity through the purchase of essential devices such as laptops, tablets, or desktop computers, and the equipment installed in public places as part of public Wi-Fi infrastructure that will directly enable work, education, and health monitoring located in communities with an identified critical need. Applicants should ensure that the proposed project is designed to directly enable work, education, and health monitoring, address a critical need that resulted from or was made apparent or exacerbated by the public health emergency, and address a critical need of the community to be served by. Examples of eligible uses of Digital Connectivity Technology Program funds include funds used to acquire and make short or long-term loans of equipment available to qualified households and multi-purpose community facilities. Funds used to install equipment and provide instruction on the setup and use of digital equipment in borrowers' homes or facilities. And funds used to train Digital Connectivity Technology Program borrowers on how to access and use the internet. Applicants eligible to apply for the grant awards include counties, municipalities, nonprofit organizations, community action agencies serving high poverty areas, and multi-purpose community facilities. Within the community, Florida Commerce has active local technology planning teams to assist with identifying critical needs and identifying eligible projects. LTPTs are familiar with local communities' digital state and are acutely aware of the challenges and barriers faced by Florida's communities. LPTs work with rural communities to help the communities understand their current broadband availability. Participation and engagement with the LTPTs are highly recommended to help determine the community's need for digital connectivity devices. LTPTs should play an active role in the application process. The Digital Connectivity Technology Program Application Submissions Portal opened on January 3rd and will close March 4th, 2024 at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, PM. Applications will be accepted via the portal only at www.floridajobs.org/broadband. Questions about the application process may be directed to broadband@commerce.fl.gov. There is no limit on the number of projects an applicant can submit or the amount of funds a project can request. There is no required match or funding. However, private leverage is strongly encouraged. Awards will be based on a competitive application process. Additionally, applicants that apply for the Multipurpose Community Facilities Program can also apply for the Digital Connectivity Technology Program. Awards will be issued through a reimbursement process. Applications will be evaluated based on defined scoring criteria. There are 5 major categories for scoring and evaluation, which include project need, project readiness, deployment and asset plans, community impact, project budget, project sustainability, and organizational capability. To review the scoring criteria, go to floridajobs.org/broadband. When completing the application, please ensure you complete all fields. Applicants may designate portions of their information provided in their application and/or any supporting documentation as proprietary confidential business information or trade secret under Section 288.9962 Florida statutes. Claims of confidentiality must be clearly articulated and made at the time of submittal. The applicant must identify each portion of the application and/or supporting documentation deemed confidential and provide a redacted version of the same material which may be disclosed pursuant to Section 288.9962 Florida statutes to the office at the time the claim of confidentiality or proprietary protection is asserted. All sections claimed confidential by an applicant will be kept confidential by the department. Applicants should be responsive to the office in a timely manner and contacted regarding deficiencies in the application. Confirm all figures in the project budget for accuracy in advance of submission. Ensure the signatory on the application has authority to sign that application. Do not wait until the deadline to submit your application or to request technical assistance. Submit the application by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, March 4th, 2024. Our office will not accept late applications. To create a strong application, there are certain areas to articulate for your project, including information regarding an identified critical need for the project, community demographic information, information of how digital connectivity technology program services will benefit the targeted community, information that aligns with the priorities of the program, such as enabling education, healthcare, workforce, and community support, project sustainability and resiliency, and strong local community support. For additional details for the Digital Connectivity Technology Program guidelines, please visit our website at floridajobs.org/broadband. For the applicant, seeking community support is a vital element in the digital connectivity technology program, and applications must show evidence of community engagement by including documentation of meeting with the county's local technology planning team, degree to which teams conducted community level activities, including engaging with the LTPTs, and research to determine the community's need for digital connectivity devices and equipment. Any memorandums of agreement or understanding between the applicant and its project partners, evidence of community outreach efforts and feedback, such as surveys, community-focused analysis, and project support, and other community feedback that shows compelling need for the project. The application and evaluation scoring criteria was posted on our website on January 3rd, 2024. As stated earlier, the Digital Connectivity Technology Program application cycle opened on January 3rd and will remain open until March 4th, 2024, with tentative award announcements in 2024. All grant agreements executed under the Digital Connectivity Technology Program will be based on a cost reimbursable basis. All requests for payment must be related to eligible costs and have occurred during the period of performance in the agreement. Awardees may also want to consider and develop a plan to mitigate against the following: timing on purchases of necessary project materials due to present supply shortage challenges, cash flow challenges, and contingency planning. I'll now turn it back over to Director Leo Garcia.
Thanks, Paul. Now we will be taking a brief pause to go over any questions we have received thus far. As a reminder, if you have questions, please type them into the chat feature and we will address questions received. If your question doesn't get addressed, please email them to broadband@commerce.fl.gov.
Welcome back. We do have several questions in here. We'll start with the first one is, can this grant be used by the Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department to put free broadband internet Wi-Fi at home, our parks, or our park patrons? Yes, public Wi-Fi is available as an eligible activity under this grant. Where can I find the notice of funding opportunity? The notice of funding opportunity is located on the Office of Broadband's website at floridajobs.org/broadband. We've been requesting an LTPT, but we don't have one in Brevard. Please contact Sean Lewis at sean.lewis@commerce.fl.gov. The next question is, if taking on this project statewide, do we have to connect with every local technology planning teams? That's a question we'll have to take as we receive that application to see what kind of support that you do have. It is required that you have as much local support as you possibly can. Statewide would require you to do much more than you normally would in a county or a local community. Will the 29 Florida counties within 3 rural areas of opportunity be preferred? Rural areas are a preferred target for these particular funds. What is the expected number of awards? Hard to say. It depends on how many applications we get that they're requesting. There's $13 million for the program, so it's not a huge sum of funding. So as we get through the applications and see what the requests are, we'll have a better idea of what that might be. But there's no way we can give you any targeted information at this point in time. Is there a minimum number of people the project has to impact per year to be considered? No. I was trying to log on to the meeting, but only just now got on. Is this being recorded so I can see what I missed? Yes. This webinar is recorded. It'll be posted within 2 days to our website at floridajobs.org/broadband. And I answered the next question as well. Is there an in perpetuity requirement? The equipment purchased is going to be owned by the applicant that receives the award. They have to follow their own procurement and disposal requirements. So this equipment has generally got a lifespan of 3 to 5 years, give or take, with the exception of Wi-Fi. So whatever your local procurement or disposal requirements are is what you have to follow for this equipment. What devices are eligible for healthcare? Again, these devices are supposed to be for individual use. It would be laptops, tablets, desktop computers, and similar devices. No cell phones. Turnaround time for reimbursement. Turnaround time for reimbursement is usually about 15 to 20 days. Depends on whether you have all your documentation submitted when you ask for your payment request. There's also the new statute that gives an option of reducing that time, and that'll be included in our agreements if and when you receive an award. You have to have a unique identifying number before you start the application. You do have to have a unique entity identifying number, so you have to be registered with sam.gov in order to make an application for these funds. That identifies our website. Can funding be used for stipends for digital navigators? These funds are not for personnel, they are for devices only, and those devices must be available to the public. Could you provide some examples of uses that would provide strong local community support? Not quite sure that I understand the question of uses. You should show community support with any local community organizations that you have, your local technology planning team, any agreements that you may have with with local businesses that are going to work and partner with you, those types of things for the community support. Total amount of funding for this grant is a little over $13 million. There's reimbursement for our actual costs where we have to show receipts. Is there a nonprofit organizational overhead percentage allowed to be added to the reimbursement? Yes, you'll have to show receipts for each and every expenditure that you have in order to be reimbursed for it. And as far as local overhead, it'll depend on what that overhead is used. If that overhead is used specifically to purchase the devices or to loan them out or for people to go and help connect them, then those will be eligible activities. But that will also be on a case-by-case basis depending on what the costs are for. Can funds be used in infrastructure projects? No, these funds are not available for infrastructure projects. How long after notification of award will it take to receive an agreement? We plan on announcing these awards sometime in June of 2024. And once the awards are announced, we start crafting the agreements. It'll take some negotiation between the awardee and the department in order to make sure that we've got all the details that we need. We'll work through a scope of work with you, but within a 30-day period, we should have an award to you. I don't see any additional questions, so we're here for a little while longer. If you've got questions, please type them in the chat and we'll answer them as we receive them. Next question. Are we back up? The next question is, can this be used statewide? Again, depends on the project. We'll evaluate the project based upon the need, the identified need, and the circumstances that made it a critical need, and who the people are that are going to be benefiting. Can this be used to upgrade a current system of an educational facility? These are for use specifically for public, right? So we wanted to upgrade a public Wi-Fi system. That's one thing. We wanted to be able to provide devices to the public. That is an eligible activity. So those decisions will be made when you submit your application. Are indirect charges an allowable use of these funds? If so, what percent can be used? So that depends on whether you have an approved indirect cost rate with any federal entity already, or whether you elect to use the de minimis 10% cost indirect cost rate, and that will be reviewed when you submit your application as part of the cost reasonableness. We create computer labs that are open to the public. Can we apply for these? Yes, you may apply for those. For a nonprofit computer refurbisher, do you believe that providing high quality refurbished laptops could be an eligible activity if need is demonstrated by the community? See, as long as they're functional and they provide the services that are necessary, I see no reason they couldn't be used. What would the expiration date of the agreement be? All of these funds have to be fully expended by December 31st of 2026. We have made our agreements for these programs to be October 31st of 2026 in order to provide for any additional information that's needed for closeout, so we can close out the grants in December of 2026. If I'm reading this correctly, that funds can be used to train the public on how to access and use the internet. This would be directly related to education and workforce development programs for disabled individuals seeking employment opportunities. So the training can be provided if you are providing the device. If you are the one providing the device, then you give training for those folks that you're providing the device to. There are other programs that will be available for actual digital equity training, digital inclusion training. And those should be available sometime the latter part of this year. Date, January 1st, earlier. The start date will be upon execution. Once we have an executed agreement, that'll be the start date for your award, and it will end October 31st of 2026. Conferences, part of the funding can be used for what? I don't know which conference you were talking to. The infrastructure programs are the only infrastructure program we have remaining is BEAD. And that program is in its infancy stage. We probably won't be doing any awards for that until very, very late this year or early next year. Non-workforce development digital equity activities allowed, for example, providing devices to homebound seniors who use the device to access healthcare. Yeah, so these funds all have to be used to enable three activities: to enable work, education, and telehealth. It has to be a combination of the three. However, looking at your question, I don't see why seniors wouldn't be able to use it for education or for telehealth, or for that matter, to do any kind of applications that they may want to do at home, or to do some work from home projects. What is the best way to be notified about other funding opportunities from the office? If you want to be notified by any other opportunities, you go to the Office of Broadband's website at floridajobs.org/broadband and subscribe. There's a subscriber button on there, register to subscribe. You'll get all future notifications of any grant awards that are out there or any activities that are taking place in the broadband office. What's the best way to be notified about other funding opportunities? That's it. Yeah. Don't see any additional questions. You see any out there? Couple more minutes. Emergency medical devices allowed. They are not part of the program.
We'll give it a few more minutes if there are some additional questions that will come in. Again, reminder, please type them into the chat feature and we will stand by to answer them. Okay, seeing that there are no additional questions at the moment, again, we want to thank you for attending the Capital Project Fund Digital Connectivity Technology Program webinar. As a reminder, this webinar has been recorded and we'll have the recording and the slide deck posted on our webpage with closed captioning. You can access that recording at www.floridajobs.org/broadband, and that will be available within 2 business days. If you have additional comments or questions, please contact us at broadband@commerce.fl.gov. Thank you again.